The cyberspace is home to billions of people and is the right platform you need to grow your business. The Center for Innovation and Technology is offering you a golden opportunity to speak directly to your market at an affordable price. We also offer media training workshops, live streaming, documentary production, and events management. Get in touch with us today on the following numbers: +263 867 711 0290 or 0718 100 235. Don't forget to subscribe to our social media platforms. Like our Facebook page, Center for Innovation and Technology. Follow us on Twitter @SiteZW. You can also check our website www.site.org.zw. You can also visit our offices at 45 Moffat Avenue, Hillside, Bulawayo. Take advantage of this opportunity to expand your business.
Now the new constitution has added a new creature, which is the Metropolitan Council. So as the Minister of Local Government, who is responsible for this Provincial Council and Administration Act, we are going to be amending this current act, which is the Provincial and Administration Act, and councils. And the proposed amendments, I'm going to lay them out for you so that they are going to be answering most of the questions that were being raised from the discussions that were done earlier. But basically, the roadmap in implementing the devolution. Firstly, it's unfortunate that I can't do my slides. I've done a draft roadmap for ease of reference. But firstly, we have to draft what we call memorandum of principles. After drafting memorandum of principles, they have to be approved by cabinet. And I think this issue will also answer the issue of the political will, which was raised by my fellow colleagues. And after approval of these principles, a bill is then drafted, which then explains and gives detail to the principles which would have been approved by cabinet. And after the bill is drafted, it then has to be approved by what we call the committee, the Cabinet Committee on Legislation. And this also addresses the issue of, do we have political will or not? And after that, the bill is then sent to Parliament for approval by both houses. And if approved, then the President signs it into law. So looking at the first stage of drafting of the Memorandum of Principles, I think this issue will also answer the question of, do we have footprints in implementing the devolution? And as we speak right now, Memorandum of Principles, they were done and they were approved by Cabinet in 2018. So as we speak right now, we do have a document which is a layout of what the bill is going to look like. And upon that approval, the Memorandum of Principles have already gone to the Attorney General's office, responsible for drafting of these bills. And a first draft is now available. To take you, I'm going to go through the proposed bill and highlight the main sections which I think are of importance and might assist this House in understanding devolution. But we need to bear in mind that, like I stated earlier on, that our devolution is mainly based on the Constitution. As the Minister of Local Government, we do not reinvent the wheel. We simply implement what is stated in the Constitution. We do not take away anything. What we simply do is to elaborate and to lay out procedures that needs to be followed in implementing the devolution as pronounced in the Constitution. So firstly, I noticed that in our files, we were given a copy of the Constitution, which carries the relevant sections. So I will not take much of your time in reading what it says. I will simply refer, and you can read through the copies that you are given. So firstly, in section 270 of the Constitution, that section lays out the functions and membership of provincial and metropolitan councils. And as a ministry, we took the functions as they are. From part 1A to F, those are the functions that you voted when you voted on the referendum. These are the functions that you said the provincial and the metropolitan councils should have. I think I'll just pick a few which I think are important and might address the issues that were being asked earlier on. Mainly the major function is on implementing, planning and implementing social and economic development activities in the province. And this issue of planning, I think it will also answer the question that the chief once highlighted in his presentation, that we have got the timber, we have got mines, we have got sand. As a province, they'll have to sit down and to plan. It's part of their functions. And to plan to say we've got this tick, we've got this sand, we've got this mine. In order to develop, how then do we plan? How then do we make more money from those resources within their provinces? And another major function that they have been given is to monitor and evaluate the use of resources in their provinces. The provincial council have been given this mandate to sit down as a council and to discuss about the minerals within their province, how those minerals can be managed properly, how can corruption be kept in order for those resources to benefit the people who are within those provinces. There are a number of functions. I can spend the whole day giving examples, but for the sake of time, I'll move on to the membership of these councils. If we go to section 268 of the Constitution, as I have said earlier on, we are not reinventing, we are not creating these councils from the air. The Constitution has made it very clear that a provincial council should have the following members as stated in the Constitution: a chairperson, senators, senator chiefs, a president and a deputy president of the National Council of Chiefs, all members of the National Assembly, the women members, mayors, and the 10 people who are elected by the proportional representation. That is in our bill, and we did not take away anything. And I was happy that we have members of parliament within us. We had the chief earlier on, and we also had we have Honorable Chukukwa here from parliament, which means if they are to work together, we will have development within our provinces. And the same goes with the membership of the metropolitan councils. The Constitution again lays out who from the metropolitan councils is part of it. And as local government, we have also taken it as it is in our draft bill. And the Constitution also goes further to state who is supposed to be chairpersons of these metropolitan and the provincial councils. I know, like my colleague was saying, that we might have a majority for this party, we might have minority, But this constitution made our lives easier. To say, if I can just read the relevant section. In section 272, chairpersons of provincial councils. At its first meeting, a provincial council must elect a chairperson from a list of at least 2 qualified persons submitted by the political which gained the highest number of the National Assembly seats. So it's also very clear, and we have took it like it is. We are not reinventing, or we are not taking away anything from the Constitution. And we move on to some of the critical sections which are also in our draft bill. The Constitution in section 272(7), it also directs that there should be an independent tribunal for removing these chairpersons from provincial councils. And it also lays out the grounds of which a chairperson of for these councils can be removed. I know you also talked about one person removing the other willy-nilly, but you are safe, if I can say. Yes, there is going to be an independent tribunal which is going to be responsible for removing these chairpersons. And the procedure, we tried our best to come up with a procedure which we think is going to be fair in terms of handling these cases. But the grounds for removal, they are very clear in the Constitution. I'll also move on to the issue of the financial provisions. One of our speakers talked about the fiscus, how these resources are going to be channeled to the provincial councils. And indeed, we did take note of that. And the Constitution, if you look at chapter 15, it's not clear as to how these resources are going to be managed. But if you go to section 301 of the Constitution, the heading is allocation of revenues between provincial and local tiers of government. I think this is going to answer Dr. Dube's main challenge which he raised. It states that an Act of Parliament must provide for the equitable allocation of capital grants between provincial and metropolitan councils and local authorities. And it then goes further to outline the factors which are supposed to be taken into account when these allocations are done. And as a ministry, in our bill, we have proposed to have what we call a fiscal, let me just check a financial advisory board. That is the proposal that we have. This financial advisory board, it will be looking at these factors which are listed in the Constitution. And for the avoidance of doubt, the factors that are listed in the Constitution are as follows. The Act must take into account the national interest, any provision that must be made in respect of the national debt and other national obligations, the needs and interests of the central government determined by objective criteria, the need to provide basic services including educational and health facilities, water, road, social amenities and electricity to marginalized areas, the fiscal capacity and efficiency of provincial and metropolitan councils and local authorities, and also developmental and other needs of provincial and metropolitan councils. So these factors are the ones which are going to be guiding this board to make recommendations to the finance, to say, I can think of an example. If a certain province has got less, certain province doesn't have enough clinics, and as a provincial council, that is what we'll be expecting to see in their developmental plan, to see in their budget when they present them for allocation to treasury. They should lay out their needs. To say in this province, we don't have schools, we don't have clinics, we don't have proper roads. And then that 5% now, if you are to read further, it says not less than 5%, not less than 5% should be allocated to these provinces, which means a province can get more than 10% if they can justify why they should get that money. And those reasons should be emanating from this section 301. And I think Honorable is going to talk more on the allocations that have been done so far, which is another footprint in terms of implementing the devolution. And among the sections within the bill, we have also proposed that the provincial and metropolitan councils have committees. These committees will be assisting the council in performing their functions, but we did not prescribe which committees they should have. It is up to each and every provincial or metropolitan council to say we would want an environmental committee, we would want a mining committee, we would want such and such committee, because their needs are different. And the Constitution further requires that there should be a clerk who is responsible for the running of this provincial council. And our interpretation, when we look at this clerk, we now equate this provincial council as a mini parliament. So if you can imagine how the parliament runs, it is the same as the provincial council. The provincial council will be headed by this clerk, who will be more of a secretariat, who will be calling for meetings, obviously, after consulting with the chairperson of the council. There was a question which was also raised about ministers of state. As you are aware, like I had earlier on highlighted, we had this Provincial and Administration Act. And those provincial ministers have been there since, I don't know. And their main function is not to disrupt the functions of the provincial council. I think we all know that provincial ministers, they represent His Excellency, and they will continue performing those functions to represent His Excellency in each and every province, but he will not be disrupting the plans which are going to be running in those provinces. So you need not worry that we have got this provincial. I'm sure you all know if there is a funeral of a national hero, those provincial ministers, they preside over those burials. So if we are to remove them, even when we have our Independence Days, His Excellency cannot go around the country, but he will be represented by these provincial ministers. So they are not going anywhere. In terms of the proposed amendments, I wouldn't call them proposed amendments to the Constitution, but these are areas which we thought were falling short in terms of having a proper implementation of the devolution. Firstly, on the issue of chairpersons of these councils, the Constitution merely refers to chairpersons of provincial councils, and they did not avail the procedure for metropolitan councils. So it is a proposal that the same way a chairperson for provincial council is elected, it also be the same for the metropolitan councils. And also on the removal of these chairpersons, we have also proposed that the same way a provincial chairperson for a council is removed, be the same for the metropolitan, for uniform sake. And I wouldn't know, my learned colleague, when they were drafting the Constitution, there is a missing section which we noted that that is not there. So on that one, we are waiting for direction on how we are supposed to move forward. That is Section 271 of the Constitution, which talks about committees of provincial councils. The 269 1H, which is being referred to, is not in the Constitution. I don't know if any one of you noted that. So we are waiting for direction on that one. I think these are the major provisions. Otherwise, if I'm to go over each and every clause, we'll take the whole day because it's a very big bill. So you can see that we are working. We also want devolution. And we hope that when it goes to Parliament, we know that they are going to approve. We will not have any problems.